Hi everybody. This is Lakma Lentz, and I'm coming to you in a tarot minute. Woohoo! Okay, so my tarot minute today is I want to talk about 3-card spreads. Almost always when somebody does a 3-card spread, they do past, present, future. And I imagine that some of you who are watching this probably don't do that. But I've been collecting for years lists of 3-card spreads, and I get people to help me with it. You know, I really enjoy getting new things, new 3-card spreads from people. And really anything that can be broken down into threes can be a really cool 3-card spread. One of the things that most tarot readers are, they're witches, they're pagans, they're New Agers, they're shamans, they're any other kind of mystic I have not put in there. I'm sorry, but these are, I'm sorry, and let me apologize for skipping you, but this is off the top of my crazy head today. But we're people who typically break things down into threes anyway. You know, we do the 3 phases of the moon, we do Maiden, Mother, Crone, body, mind, spirit. You know, we typically break things down into threes, just as human beings. You know, just in society, we break things down into threes all the time. You know, celebrities die in 3, bad things happen in threes, good things happen in threes. You know, 3rd time's the charm. We break things down into threes. So I just thought there should be other things than past, present, future. So I want to, and you're going to have to excuse my camera work here. And also the light is horrible in here, huh? I'm not even in my little tarot room today, where the light's always bad. I'm going to, hold on one second. Did that help at all? Okay. Well, you know, at least I'm being consistent. You guys are used to bad lighting from my tarot things. Okay. I think that past, present, future just does not always suit our needs. I think too often, if you want to know how to get started in a situation, past, present, future is not going to help you with that. I think that sometimes it's a good overview for things. And I think if you're a person who's been, you know, if you're stuck in a pattern, past, present, futures, it's a good spread. I'm not saying don't ever do past, present, future. What I'm trying to say is think about what your need is with your question and go from there. For instance, let me see. If you're trying to look at a situation and you don't really know what to do, let's say that this is the illusion. Let's do illusion, knowledge, magic. So this is the illusion of your situation. These are things that might not be true. And then this is the knowledge. This is something that you're pretty much know. And then this is the magic of the situation. Now, since I don't have a real person, it's not a real question to tune into because I wasn't really thinking of a real situation. But it's interesting that the illusion of this situation is the King of Swords, and that the magic is the 3 of Swords. Actually, they're all swords. Wow, you know what? It was a well shuffled deck. That's pretty weird. Anyway, it's funny to me that the king is in the illusion and that the Three of Swords is in the magic of the situation. Because to me, this is telling me, I think that the advice I would give for this is just to kind of maybe go away and think about things and then come back. The King of Swords, you know, he's that guy who's really going to think things out. He's the knower. You go to the King of Swords really for a solid thought process. In this situation, I know there are other things that could be said about the King of Swords, and that's kind of the illusion. So maybe in this situation, I would tell somebody that maybe they're overthinking it. And the Three of Swords, where people very often see that as a sorrow sort of thing, I think in this situation, the Three of Swords would be more a kind of a struggle between your heart and your head. I think that that's what the heart represents in the Three of Swords, and then you've got the swords sticking through it, so you've got that whole intellectual air kind of things, and you've got the heart. So the Three of Swords in this situation, I would tell somebody that that's what it is. The funny thing is that's kind of the knowledge in this situation. So you've got the illusion is the solid thought process, and the knowledge is the struggle between your heart and your head. And then the Ten of Swords, you know, which is the magic of the situation. The magic of this situation is just giving up. It's been a long struggle and it's time to move on. So, wow. Now, see, now if this was like a past, present, future kind of thing, you would get a whole different reading. You know, you're coming from this King of Swords situation, and now you're sitting in a place of sorrow or sitting in a place of struggle, and you need to move forward to the other thing, whereas where the king is your illusion instead of the past. Oh, I've got Jay Irving who's going to come up here. He thinks this is his table and his cards. Okay. You know, maybe we should just stick with the same three cards. That might be interesting, huh? And go through a couple. Another 3-card spread that you could use is, oh my gosh, 2 more swords. You know, you saw me divide this up into 3 piles, so even if it wasn't well shuffled, that's just weird. Okay, so another 3-card spread that could be used could be, and this one came from my mechanic. Whenever there was a problem and my car wouldn't start, he would always say, you know, car won't start for 3 reasons. No fuel, no fire, no air. No fuel, no fire, no air. So it's like, wow, you know, what a great 3-card spread that is. You know, so the first position is your fuel. You know, what's the fuel of the situation? And the next is the spark. You know, what ignites this situation? And the other one, and then the last one is the air, which, you know, being of a witchy mind, I see that as, you know, what is the, what's the intellect behind it? So your fuel is the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords here, I would say, you know, has been, is that better? Has been the struggle or the fight. And the spark of this situation, I'm going to run through this and not go, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to rush through. So the spark of the situation is the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is let me see. If the spark is the struggle, I'm sorry, if your fuel is the struggle, a spark in this situation I would see as, the waking up to reality. You can see all the horror and the bad things that have gone on. And so the air in this situation, I would talk about, the hope that it represents, or the insight that can be seen. So, one of my favorite ones, and this one, I don't know how any of you will feel about this. I'm a big fan of Arthurian legend. And so, I just lost my list. It fell to the floor. Okay. Big fan of Arthurian legend. So we're going to say this is Arthur and Guinevere and Lancelot. So the thing about Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot is you could see these guys, you could see these three as so many different things. Arthur could be the dupe, he could be the protector, he could be the forgiver, he could be the understander, the balancer, he could be the king. Guinevere could be seen as the lover, the goddess, the destroyer. She could be the weak or the strong, the seductress, she could be the queen. Lancelot, likewise could be the interloper, the interferer. He could be the lover, the fanatic. He could be the loyal, the disloyal. He could be the knight. Any of the positions could also be seen as the person who's stuck between a rock and a hard place. But my favorite way to see this is Arthur represents the highest good that can come out of the situation, what you want to look for that's going to bring about the fairest and the best resolution. Guinevere is the nurturer. She represents what needs to be taken care of in order to bring about the results that you're looking for. And Lancelot represents the things that are worth the fight. We always have that phrase, people are always saying, you pick and choose your battles, you pick and choose your battles. So Lancelot helps you figure out what that best battle is. So in this situation, your highest good right here is the seven of staffs. Now we've got a devil in staffs. Okay, Arthur in this situation, sorry about that, I had cat problems. Arthur in this situation is the Seven of Staffs, and the Seven of Staffs can be read, depending on the deck, several different ways. I think in this deck, the Seven of Staffs is that defense, the defensiveness, but it's a good, strong, solid defensiveness. So Arthur represents whatever your highest good is in this situation. It's good, it's strong, it's sturdy, it's defendable. So it's what's right, or it's within what's right. I would say kind of sort of justice is on your side in that. Guinevere is the nurturer, and this is kind of funny. I would ask somebody to take a look at what they may not be willing to let go of, or what is common patterns that they repeat. What's the rut that they're into? What are they not willing to let go of? What things are they a little bit maybe too addicted to to think about letting go. The interesting thing is that this has fallen in the position of the nurturer. So what you do is, what I would suggest the person do in this situation is to really think about the things that maybe they're a little bit addicted to, and maybe kind of nurture that. Maybe not, okay, if it's a big addiction, you know, like if it's drugs or something, I would say, well, definitely nurture yourself to get out of, you know, to ease that off so that you can defend yourself. But what if what you're not willing to let go of is, what if you're just a little bit too one-sided? I would think that maybe in this situation, that needs to be taken a good hard look at. I would think, because maybe you're being one-sided for a reason. Maybe that one-sidedness helps you out this time. Maybe that one-sidedness is because of your Arthur position. Maybe it's a little bit justified this time. And then with Lancelot, the Lancelot position is, you know, the good fight. It's what's worth the fight. And the Four of Staffs is just, it's that wonderful, I don't know if you can get a good look at this card. It's really cute. There are two unicorns peeking out here. Those are two little unicorns. I don't know if it's showing up. Anyway, the Four Staffs, the Lancelot position, is the thing that's worth the fight. And what's worth the fight here is being able to see your way clear to home. It's time to celebrate. You're close enough to home that, you know, you can start dancing and hopping around and enjoying the view, because home is, it's right there within your sight. And it's if that's what your struggle is for, or maybe that's your best struggle right now, is whatever feels like home to you that you can see clearly up ahead. That's your struggle. Those are just a few examples. I have a feeling I'm going to look through this and maybe not post it, but it was a good start to maybe think about. Oh, you know what? There's one more I do want to talk about. I was, like, years ago, and to this day, I bet I still get goosebumps when I think about it. Years ago, I was explaining my whole, anything that you can break down into threes, you can make a good tarot spread out of. And I was explaining this to my brother's then girlfriend, and my brother kind of whipped his head around, and he's like, what? You mean like, and my brother's a mechanical engineer, I'll tell you that right now. And he's like, what? You mean like, or he's like, anything you can break down into threes? And I was like, yeah, anything that you break down into threes, you can make into a tarot spread. And he was like, well, what about raw material, process, final product, which is what he works with? And I got goosebumps. I can still feel goosebumps coming up. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, your raw material, your process, and your final product. And it's like, what a great tarot spread that is. It's like, this is your raw material. This is what you have to work with. This is what you've got to work with. And so you've got your Nine of Cups here. Your Queen of Cups is your process. That's how you work with your Nine of Cups. Whatever you decided your Nine of Cups with, you take it, you look at it through the eyes of the Queen of Cups, or you deal with it through a Queen of Cups kind of way. And then your final product is the Eight of Swords. And I know, like, a lot of people would say, ooh, Eight of Swords, that's not good because she's stuck. But, you know, from what I'm seeing really quickly here, you take this, you do this with it, and you find a way out of this. You know, the Eight of Swords, they're always stuck, but there's always really an easy way out too. So I have talked for way too long. but I did want to just encourage people to do 3-card spreads. Think, please, about 3-card spreads. There are so many, many, many that you can do, and so many different things that you can use them for. There is, well, you know, I've already mentioned Maiden Mother Crone. You could do the event, the action, a reaction, your head, your heart, and the temperance of those two. There's subconscious, conscious, superconscious. Oh, you know, I really like the thesis, antithesis, and the synthesis. So, you know, whatever you've got going, what interferes with that, how you blend the two together. There's the goal, you know, the problem, and you now. So, you know, that's kind of like where you want to be, what's getting in the way of that, and who you are now, or what you're doing now. You know, there's the id, ego, the superego. There's for all you lit majors out there, there's how does that go? The plot, the climax, and the summary. The root of the matter, who you are now, and the energy that you have to tap into, which really is kind of the, when you do a Celtic cross spread, it's the 3 that go this way. You know, you have this way, which is kind of like the past, present, future in a Celtic cross spread. But then when you go up, when you go up that way, you kind of have, you have the root of the matter, and you, and the energy that you have to tap into. But when you look at that as just a 3-card spread, you can get a lot more information out of it than if it's just part of a larger reading. And I have nothing against 3-card spread. I still use 3-card spread. I'm sorry. I have nothing against Celtic cross. I still use Celtic cross. But very often when I use the Celtic cross, I will use a 3-card spread at the end of it just to help pull it all together. You can have your closed heart, what you need to do to open it, and then what you need to do to protect that. It's a really, really good one. You can do red, blue, yellow is one of my favorite ones, because I was an art major in college. So red is like whatever's warm, blue is like whatever's cool, and then yellow is the light. Primary, secondary, tertiary, again, you know, art major. There's, oh, you know what? There's one that I learned about from Starhawk. She wrote about it in, what was that book? The Earth Path? Does that sound familiar? It was a Starhawk book. I think it's The Earth Path. But she talked about a politician who made the speech that everybody made fun of, Donald Rumsfeld. And I don't remember the speech. I don't know what he was talking about. I do know I don't care for Donald Rumsfeld. But anyway, what he said was that there were the known knowns, the known unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. So this is like maybe a dumb thing to say in politics, but when you think of it in terms of tarot, these are the things that you know you know. You know these things. These things here are some things you know you don't know. There are always things, you know, yeah, I know I don't know this. You know, this is what I'm trying to find out. That's why I'm having a tarot reading. I know I don't know this. But these are the things that are like complete mysteries. These are the things that you don't even know that you don't know. And that has been a really, really helpful tarot reading a lot. So I'm going to wrap this up because I think I've talked a lot longer than I normally do. The tarot minutes I try to keep down to around 10, and I bet this is, I wouldn't be surprised to find out it's like half an hour. So I hope I haven't rambled too much. I might not even post this, but if I don't post it, I'll try and do it again. And I really don't know why I'm telling you that, because you'll either see this or not. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this made sense. And I hope you try some different 3-card spreads. Even if you're a person who does different 3-card spreads, take a look at a new 3-card spread. Find something in your life and say, hey, I do that in 3s. Or, you know, next time you're, I don't know, making a cup of tea, think about, you know, you choose your tea, how do you make it? Do you boil the water? Do you boil your tea leaves? Do you, you know, so, you know, these are your choice of teas. This is the boiling, and this is your tea. This is how you're enjoying your tea. Next time you do anything, break it down into 3s and do a tarot spread. So anyway, I really am done rambling, and I'm sorry I rambled so long. This was Locke Malintz. Thank you guys all for watching, and lots of love to you all.